Marvel gives queer Latinos. How is she queer?
Which is all I really care.
Which is all I really care about. Our story. And then it's like I feel like DC came out and went, well, SnagglePuss.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You think you got something there? Well, SnagglePuss takes it in the rear.
And you know what? And he's going to justify it.
And they're out there. You can tell they're out competing. And it's like, what's next?
Trigger disclaimer. This recording contains some disagreeable content coupled with a bit of language. If you are confused about the definition of intolerance, unaware of the continued presence in society of men, if you suffer from anxiety disorder, or wear fluorescent shoes, this podcast may not be suitable for you. In fact, appear to be fucking flustered.
Did you hear that about SnagglePuss? So DC Comics is owned by Warner Brothers, who also owns Hanna-Barbera. And they are making comic books. For example, they got a new, edgier version of Scooby-Doo or the Mystery, whatever they're called, the Mystery Gang, I forget. Scooby-Doo Gang, and they've got Shaggy's a hipster with a beard now, and Velma's
it's updated.
It's updated, right? Right. It's updated. And you got the Fred Flintstone, and it's very current, talking about social issues.
Oh Lord.
For example, the Flintstones are a persecuted minority because of their particular marriage. They believe in monogamous relationships.
Really?
Absolutely. And the rest of the what are they called? The Bedrock Society.
This is worse than the Smurfs bringing in communism.
Yeah, it's this whole thing where they're trying to update it, make it relevant. And I remember seeing the cover of a comic book where, Fred and Wilma are huddled together, and you've got all these Cro-Magnums kind of yelling at them, with their signs.
Oh,
God doesn't believe in one wife.
Shut up.
I'm not making any of this up.
Is this comic book or is this actually a cartoon?
You know that
This is a comic book.
Okay.
So this is the DC.
I guess we just can't keep it about people driving cars with their bare feet as the motor. Can't keep it that way. It has to be. Something
It has
new.
to be. Well, because DC comic books. You remember Gamergate? That was a big thing. There's this thing called Gamergate, and what ended up happening was, long story short, they were saying that video games are sexist. And long story, I don't want to get too much into the details. It didn't blow over. It didn't last. And gaming kept going on. And it was one of the few places in entertainment where they resisted SJW meddling. Unfortunately, my favorite medium, more than television, video games, is comic books. And they are that they just have a history of being self-sensitizing or self-censorship with the comic book code authority. And so now SJWs who don't even lean on them that hard. So comic books, unfortunately, with their history, have taken a submissive, passive, pandering attitude. And so they don't get as much pressure because they're not as popular a format or medium, but they
jump on it.
They're quick
eager.
to say,
They're eager,
eager almost. Look what we're doing now. We got a female. And it started with women in refrigerators. There's a feminist. They even gave her a job. She complained about on some article. Kyra and his girlfriend was killed. My favorite Green Lantern. And they found her in a refrigerator, and she made a whole thing. Women in refrigerators, and there's this whole thing that they always kill off a female character to make the male protagonist grow. And you know what? I let it go, and I think it was our first loss. This is back in the 90s. And so how did DC respond? Not like, hey, things happen, people die. And I'm probably pointing to the countless times that a male protagonist or a male supporting character has died to allow a female character to grow. No, they gave her a job and had her start writing. And so that was the downward slide to where they will pander.
Karen Page in Daredevil, Volume 2.
Karen Page in Daredevil, Volume 2, what about her?
She gets killed by Bullseye.
Right, that's an example, but it's not... Okay, so what? But okay, so we kind of gave into that, and now it's a race to see who can be more progressive, who can pander to the SJW.
So where's the race started in the 90s led us to?
Well, now we've, just to name a few things, the one that really caught my eye and why we're talking about this is SnagglePuss. So I mentioned that Hanna-Barbera and DC are both owned. So Warner Brothers, both owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers has told DC, I want you to make these updated Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And so now they have SnagglePuss.
I hate the idea of updating.
So Hanna-Barbera / DC has rebooted SnagglePuss. And SnagglePuss is a alternative lifestyle.
Queer.
Yes. So we're broaching and celebrating the sexuality of pink cartoon lions. Without manes, by the way. Why does Snagglepuss not have a mane? But that's a topic for a different day. Mm-hmm. So if I can just read an excerpt celebrating it, this is something to be celebrated. And I'm going to give you some other examples of them going kind of rampant with this. So the Daily Dot, this is from the Daily Dot, came out February 2nd. It says, DC Comics reboots Hanna-Barbera's Snagglepuss as a gay Southern Gothic playwright. I'm not making any of this up.
Somebody wrote that in an article?
It sounds like it's from The Onion. I'm not making this up.
That reeks of such desperation.
I mean, it's a slow news day?
All right. Well, that's the thing. They do it and then they get press.
Okay, they got it.
So they're saying DC I didn't even read that article till right now. I knew the gay part, but anyway. So it says DC Comics will be launching the cartoon cat Snagglepuss as a gay Southern Gothic playwright, following the Hanna-Barbera reboots that gave us the post-apocalyptic wacky races and the Flintstones as a dark political satire. See, I was right about that. Snagglepuss isn't well known for some Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Scooby-Doo and the Smurfs, so you'd be forgiven for mistaking him for the Pink Panther. He's a pink mountain lion who aspires, hence no mane, who aspires to be a stage actor with a camp, lisping voice.
He does. If you're going to make a character gay, he would be the one.
Right, he's clearly camp.
Yep.
Yeah. Give me a daiquiri already. A set of balls, even.
Yeah, right. That's right. There you go. Anyway, Snagglepuss was a side character in several shows, including Yogi Bear. But DC Comics has given him his own comic. Superhero artist Howard Porter and Flintstones writer Mark Russell. The character is getting more realistic and anthropomorphic makeover.
That's what we want from our cartoon pink mountain lions, is more realism.
Right. Why? I mean, why? Why not just keep it simple?
Isn't it for children? Isn't Hanna-Barbera cartoons for kids?
I'm not. What adult person is going to pick up a Snagglepuss comic?
Nobody.
So it's a children's thing. Okay.
Right.
Why do we? I hate this because why do we have to introduce all these complex themes to children's medium?
Yeah, time out. I'm going to ask the Parfection. We're going to have to do some adjusting here. I found an excerpt from the book. I think he may be talking to his partner. He's talking to someone. It may not be his partner. And I want the Parfection to read his lines in Snagglepuss's voice, and I'll read it in his partner or friend. Okay. I don't know for this point.
Let's do it.
All right, so here it is.
The world is on fire, young man. As writers, it's only proper that we do what we can to warn people. But in telling the truth to the world, don't lie to yourself. Write whatever you want. Tell the truth. Just don't imagine that you're changing anything. Like I said, people just want to have a good time.
Then what's the point of any of this? Why write at all?
Son, in life, you do not fight battles because you expect to win. You fight them merely because they... Why'd you do that to me?
Read it!
You fight them merely because they need to be fought.
The adventures continues in Exit Space Lab. The Snagglepuss Chronicles!